Yeah, hello everybody. It's great to be here at Unite and to see all that amazing stuff that has been created with Unity. I attended the keynote yesterday and I was really blown away from all the great Unity experience that has been created. It was really mind-blowing. And today we will tell you a little bit about merging real-time 3D and PLM in manufacturing. And perhaps let me start with a story. So about 1 year ago, we had this vision of connecting the worlds of PLM, Teamcenter with Unity, because PLM systems are hosting that rich 3D content that we want to be able to use as a foundation, as building blocks for building this great Unity experience, where lots of stuff hidden in PLM systems like 3D models, like JT files and all this stuff, and we want to benefit from this. And we had this vision of creating this connection between Teamcenter PLM and Unity 3D, to build a bridge, so to say. But first of all, let me introduce the two of us here on stage. Perhaps with me on stage is my friend Laurent Milon from PiXYZ Software and straight from Paris. Yeah. Could you please tell me a little bit about your role and this amazing company that is PiXYZ Software?
Yeah, thank you, Winfried. So my name is Laurent from PiXYZ. I have a background in AR and VR, especially in the automotive industry, and I'm part of the PiXYZ team since we created the company 2 years ago. And I'm now in charge of services and operations at PiXYZ. So nice to meet you all, and thank you very much for joining this session. And I'm here with Winfried from Atos.
Yeah, I guess it's my turn. I'm working at Atos as an engineer, developer, and consultant, and I've did quite a few projects in the PLM area over the last 10 years. To be exact, it's about 12 years that I'm working with Teamcenter in all its different flavors like enterprise or unified architecture. So it's safe to say that we have quite some experience when it comes to working with PLM systems. And maybe not everyone is familiar with Atos as a company. It's not really a tiny company. We have more than 100,000 experts. We are present in more than 70 countries. It's all over the world. And it's also noteworthy that we spend about 215 million euro a year for R&D. We're heavily invested in all these areas like digital twin, for example, or AI or augmented reality, virtual reality, and so on and so on. All these cool things that the industry is interested in exploring. Yeah. To summarize it all, Atos, huge company, lots of experts, global scale, and maybe the next slide. Laurent, again, could you please tell us a little bit about the great company that is PiXYZ Software and the unique stuff that you are creating there?
Yes, so the ID card is, I have to say, a little less impressive than Atos one. So PiXYZ is a French company. We are a little younger than yours, Winfried. We created the company in 2017, so 2 years ago only. And we have a staff of 20 people now in PiXYZ. And everyone here at PiXYZ is focusing on CAD models, optimization, preparation, and conversion for real-time engines, especially for Unity engine. So we are creating algorithms, tools, and solutions to help you guys, Unity developers, to bring CAD models, so 3D objects coming from something like another world, into Unity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, great. Perhaps you're aware that our talk is called Merging PLM and Real-time 3D. So I should talk a little bit about PLM, at least in a nutshell. what is PLM or product lifecycle management all about? It's it covers the whole product development process from product idea over to product design, product development, maintenance, classification, what else? Maintenance, service, and until end of life of a product. And what can be a product? It could be basically everything. It can be a car, of course. It can be a ship. It can be a plane. These are examples for very complex products. And you need to have some kind of software that helps you with the complexity of these sophisticated products like a car. And this is where product lifecycle management comes into play. And we have these areas where we are especially interested because product lifecycle management most often has a connection to some CAD system. It could be Siemens NX, for example. It could be any other CAD vendor. And these CAD systems and product data management and this visualization stuff, these are the areas that we are especially interested in because they are hosting all this rich 3D content, which we would like to benefit from for pulling them out of the PLM systems and using them as building blocks for building those great Unity experiences. And perhaps the next slide shows a conversation that has happened quite some time in engineering department, for example. Why is it so hard to get all this great JT data, this 3D content that is sitting in Teamcenter, for example? Why is it so hard to get that in Unity as a foundation for building this great Unity experiences? And there are reasons for that. There are reasons for that, why that is so hard. And the first thing that is the obstacle or the challenge here is the integration challenge. We need to enable Unity to be able to talk to Teamcenter. We need to enable Unity to connect to Teamcenter. And we needed to extend the Unity interface to have a custom Teamcenter menu to be able to log into Teamcenter, for example, or to run some dispatcher jobs from Unity. And these are what we call the integration challenge. And there's another challenge, that is a data challenge, because the data formats used in the CAD world are quite different from the data formats that are used in the Unity ecosystem. And maybe you can explain a little bit about the data challenge that we have been facing?
Yes, sure. So that's the other aspect we have identified as a challenge to bring CAD models into Unity. PLM software engineering tools like CATIA, Siemens, and others are used to create very complex geometries or models are made for creating such complex models for the industry. So you have a lot of information into these tools, into the PLM that Winfried mentioned. You have, of course, the mesh, the model itself, but you also have a large ecosystem of information around that can be metadata or other stuff. So what you need to do when you want to bring a CAD model into Unity is to make sure that you have the complete list of all your requirements in terms of 3D model, in terms of metadata, and how accurate you want to be when you transfer the data from one world to another. So speaking of two worlds, here is a quick highlight of maybe the main differences between the CAD modeler world and the real-time visualization world, and why it is such a challenge to bring your models and models from your customers into Unity engine. So these are really two separated worlds. The first one is made for engineers, for designers, to create very complex assemblies. People are putting a lot of information and knowledge into their assemblies, into their products. It contains, of course, geometrical information, 3D models, but also a large variety of information that comes as metadata, product manufacturing informations, You have also design informations and structures. You have physical material properties, a large amount of data that comes on top of very complex assemblies. If you can imagine the CAD model of a boat, a ship, a car, there is thousands, millions of pieces that are necessary into this famous PLM system to have a complete review and production of a car or of an object.
It's a challenge to manage all this complexity, and this is why we need to have a PLM system in place to manage this.
It's another challenge then to bring this world and connect it to the real-time visualization world, so probably the one you all know about, with the Unity engine, for instance, where you need to manage 3D assets that are lightweight, that can be used on numerous platforms, that have very specific requirements, and when you need to manage also new notions like UVs, materials, simplified hierarchy, animations, that kind of stuff. So that's the data challenge. And at PiXYZ, we are focusing on solutions and products to help people dealing with this data challenge. So what we do is actually quite simple, and here is a synthesis of it. You have on the left side all the PLM world and vocabulary and information you can find. So NURBS data, which is a mathematical representation of your models. You have polygon models, also known as meshes. You can have scan data. We are hearing more and more about scanned data lately. And metadata of any kind. The idea is to put PiXYZ to help transforming the data and push through these kind of assets into real-time experiences of any kind. If possible, all based on Unity, of course. And that's all of an integration to put PiXYZ and to connect these both worlds. And that's why we also partners with Winfried and Atos to ensure a correct integration of PiXYZ into a more global workflow that implies Teamcenter.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, the next slide is about the Unity Teamcenter integration framework that we built together. And this slide shows something like a bird's eye view, how the architecture looks like. Of course, we have the Unity editor on the left side. And what we did is we created a Teamcenter plugin for the Unity editor. So that Unity is able to talk to Teamcenter. So to give you some background on this, there is a SOA library that enables you to connect with Teamcenter. If someone is familiar with Teamcenter, we are able to log in as InfoDBA user, which is a kind of root user of Teamcenter, without leaving the Unity editor. It's possible to do a connect from within Unity. And more than that, we are able to talk to the dispatcher client on the Teamcenter side. So what we basically do is run a request to the dispatcher client on the Teamcenter end and trigger this conversion process. All the heavy lifting is done by the PiXYZ toolchain, of course, because conversion from a JT file to a FBX file, for example, it's not that easy. It requires this specialized know-how that is present at your company. But what we can do is we let the Unity editor talk to Teamcenter and trigger different actions here. So we have this integration challenge of creating the Teamcenter plugin. We have this integration challenge to customize the dispatcher client on the Teamcenter end, so that the dispatcher client recognizes the calls that are coming from Unity. And as a crucial part of the equation, we have the PiXYZ toolchain in place to do all this heavy lifting of conversion between JT format, as an example, and create something like an FBX or OBJ file that is ready to use in Unity. So how does it look like? On the top of the slide, you see the architecture again. And on the bottom, on the left side, you see what we did with the Unity editor. We created this Teamcenter plugin. We created a special form that allows you to trigger dispatcher jobs from within Unity Editor, and we have set up quite a few workflows that we can trigger from Unity Editor. And on the right side, so you have the different flavors of Teamcenter clients, which is Teamcenter Rich client, which is kind of the main window into the Teamcenter world. And you have active workspace version of Teamcenter client with a much more fresher user interface. But you can trigger this dispatcher jobs from every location. You can do it from the Unity editor, you can do it from any Teamcenter client. You can start this conversion from JT or any other CAD format into something that Unity can process from each client. So the Unity creator for sure will work within the Unity editor, and if he's interested in pulling some content from the Teamcenter realm, then he's able to do that. He can do a query from within the Unity editor, within Teamcenter, pick some item he's interested in, let the PiXYZ toolchain do the heavy lifting behind the scenes of conversion, and have it ready for use in Unity. And on the other end, we have the Teamcenter clients. Perhaps there is an engineer that it has been requested to send some 3D content to Unity. He's also able to do that by running the same workflows that are also available in Unity Editor. So, yeah, this is a kind of a summary slide. One has to say this has been really a joint effort between 3 companies. Atos brought this long experience and skills with PLM systems to the table, and of course Unity, the world-class real-time 3D engine with this amazing multi-platform capabilities and this unique know-how that is provided by PiXYZ software. We brought all this together and were able to create this solution that saves quite some time. Okay, so up next is we will show you a video, how easy it is to pull a CAD file from Teamcenter into Unity. I will try to run the video. And it looks like it is running. Yeah, now it's running. So we are in the Unity editor here, and we have a very basic setup, a simple Unity project with some lighting, camera, all the basic stuff. And perhaps you can recognize that we have this custom Teamcenter menu here. So you are able to log into Teamcenter from here. And the console output tells you that the login has been successful. It's a matter of seconds to log into Teamcenter from here. And we have access to all the different dispatcher services we prepared for Teamcenter. And there are quite a few workflows that you can choose from. The simplest case is to just get a JT file and convert it on the fly to something Unity can process, like an FBX file. That has happened already. And down there in the console output, you recognize that there has been a unique dispatcher job ID. It has been created. And we're switching to the Teamcenter Rich client. And it has something like a dispatcher admin console, and just doing an update of this console. And we recognize the same job ID here in Teamcenter Rich client. So basically, we have a remote control for Teamcenter here from within Unity. We can run any dispatcher job that is present in Teamcenter. Yeah, all this console output. Yeah, this is some of the integration work we did. We extended the Unity user interface to host this custom menus. And of course, in the plugins folder, we have a bunch of DLLs that enable Unity to talk to Teamcenter. This is only possible if all these Teamcenter SOA DLLs are present. And in the meantime, the translation job is still running, and now it has been completed. So in this case, it takes about roughly 20 or 30 seconds. We'll switch back again to the Unity editor. I prepared a folder that's called Teamcenter Assets. And we go down to the Windows Explorer. It's a file system. And yeah, we have this FBX file that has been just created by this dispatcher job. And it's simply drag and drop into Unity editor, and you're able to work with this FBX file that has been created out of this JT file in a couple of with a couple of mouse clicks. Yeah, we can all see all the different parts that have been arriving in Unity. So you're good to go to work with this in Unity and use all this content that is hosted by Teamcenter. Okay, so this is first movie I wanted to show. And we have, so this was the direction from pulling a file from Teamcenter from within Unity. But the same is possible from within Teamcenter. It's within Teamcenter, it's just a matter of running a workflow, the same workflows that we prepared for the Unity editor. So let me show you this too. So again, we're here in Teamcenter Rich Client. We created a small assembly here. It's yeah, plain assembly. It's not very sophisticated, but it's hosting also this 3D file in the shape of a JT file. This is what the mouse pointer is pointing to. We have a small preview picture here. And everyone who is familiar with Teamcenter Rich Client and running workflows from there will easily recognize what I'm doing here. I'm just starting a workflow. Yeah, it's a little bit in slow motion. Could be a little bit faster. So this is a familiar form where you pick one of your workflows, and we have quite a bunch of workflows. We can create FBX OBJ file from a JT file, but we also have other workflows in place that enable us to create a prefab, for example, or an asset bundle. But on top of this, we are also able to create a full-blown Unity application directly out of Teamcenter. But we will come to that later. So the dispatcher is running again. I'm doing an update here. And again, we have a new dispatcher job running. And it's translating. Yeah, it takes a couple of seconds to complete this job. We have a wealth of information here in the dispatcher admin console. Yeah, takes some more time. It should be finished soon. Okay. Yeah, this is an info form where you can learn about this particular dispatcher job, when it has been started, and so on. Unique task ID. And what we have also there is, yeah, okay, so close this form. And in the meantime, the dispatcher job should be completed. Yeah, still running. Yeah. I should have shortened the video a little bit. Yeah, and now it's finally complete. Thanks for your patience. We switch back again to the Unity editor. And as expected, we have a new FBX file that has been created. We can drag and drop again into Unity editor, and we're good to go to build on that for creating a Unity project, something opening the Unity editor, drag and drop it. And now it has arrived in Unity editor. So yeah, perhaps this video is a little bit too long. So in real life, it would be a matter of 20, 30 seconds to get your assets from Siemens PLM Teamcenter into Unity editor. So this is a almost seamless integration, and it's without the hassle of any manual interaction. It's all happening behind the scenes here. Yeah, okay. So
just maybe a quick word about the PiXYZ process here. Everything here has been launched in headless mode, so using Python scripting. So the entire PiXYZ technology in that workflow is Python driven, so you can easily customize your scenario in terms of data preparation process, or also the output file you will use. Here in the in Winfried example, it's an FBX, but it could also be an asset bundle or a prefab, something more dedicated to Unity.
yeah.
Or it could be also something more.
So this was the simplest of all use cases, to have a JT file in Teamcenter and create a FBX file out of it. But what we want to show now is how we can create a full-blown Unity experience with a few mouse clicks. And let's start with this. Yeah, it's starting again within the Teamcenter Rich client. We again start some workflow, but this time around we start a different workflow, one that is called creating a whole Unity experience out of this JT file. And to be honest, this takes a little bit more than 30 seconds. In fact, it takes about 5 or 6 minutes to complete. And I shortened the video a little bit so that this translation process is not shown in full, but after 5 or 6 minutes, it's completed. Again, the same stuff that is happening behind the scenes with the dispatcher client. And now I switch back to some folder into the file system. And we have all this stuff that has been created by the Teamcenter Unity integration and the PiXYZ toolchain, of course. We have a full-blown Unity experience here. And what we try to build is to have a tiny review application that is based on this JT model that we pulled from Teamcenter. We embedded this in a Unity project, and we are able to see the hierarchy here. We can select one of the parts, and it is highlighted. Yeah, it's not that. It's a nice application, but I'm sure if you browse around on the show floor, you will experience that will be much better than this. But it's only an example what is possible with the power of this integration to build a complete Unity experience. We have a few nice features here, selecting parts and rotates this radial engine around, and even let it explode to be able to do a closer inspection. If something is obviously wrong, you can recognize it here. And it's just an example what can be done automatically in headless mode to create this full-blown Unity experience directly out of Teamcenter, just by clicking by having a few mouse clicks. So this is really the power of this integration, to be able to create this with only a few mouse clicks. And of course, as you said, it's also possible to create any other stuff that might be useful in Unity, such as prefabs or asset bundles or USD files. Everything that PiXYZ toolchain is capable of, we can create automatically just by hiding this whole complexity into the Teamcenter workflows and let it do its work behind the scenes. Okay. So the last thing I want to show is, I adapted the rhythm of innovation. So I have to admit, I'm a little bit of a gamer also. And it's such fun to play around with Unity and all the options it offers. And I created this little movie based on the same JT file that we saw in Teamcenter, and applied measured materials that are provided by Unity to have this high quality surfaces here on the radial engine, and added some scripting, and to summarize, it has been made with Unity. It is powered by Teamcenter because that's the source of the JT file, and it's enabled by PiXYZ and our work at Atos, integration work. And let me show you what we've done. I attended the keynote yesterday, and instantly it came to mind that there is some music missing here, because if it's called a rhythm of innovation, we should have some soundtrack for this, so like a heartbeat or something like that. But this has been done, of course, with a high-definition render pipeline and measured material applied to the surfaces. So this is really exciting what can be done with Unity. This is really nice. So I hope we have been able to tell you a little bit about what we have been working on in the last months. So I guess you got an impression what we are able to do with the power of the PiXYZ toolchain and with our integration work. So next, I guess we are open to take any questions from you. So I would like you, if you have any questions, there are 2 mics in this area up above. If you want to ask some questions, please feel free to do so.
Thank you, everyone, for your attention.
Hiya. I've got a couple of questions about the workflow. So the first one is, in the original one you did with via FBX, that doesn't bring across any metadata, does it? Or does it?
It what, sorry?
Does it bring across any metadata with FBX?
No, actually that's part of one of the first slides. It's very rare that there is animations in the CAD world, or you call that kinematics or something quite complex for simulation. So no, in the FBX files there is no animation.
No, not animation, metadata. So I'm just wondering how because in the second example where you created the application, you brought across the model data, geometry data, and you also had the metadata associated with that. Yeah. So is there how does that work in terms of the workflow?
What we basically did is PLM XML export that contains all the metadata information, like attributes, all that stuff that is hidden in Teamcenter. This has been exported and in the shape of a PLM XML file, and we pass this file and incorporate it into the review application that we saw. That is the source of all the metadata we saw at the...
So you take the geometry with one way and you take the metadata another way and you match them up in Unity.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we pull the metadata from the PLM XML file, and along with the PLM XML file, we also draw the JT file or any other CAD file from Teamcenter.
Okay. And the other question I have is, in terms of simplification of the data, the example you showed was it was a relatively simple model. Yeah. You're talking about huge, heavy machinery or something. Yeah. You wanted to bring all that in. How do you control the level of simplification? You want to simplify it so you can view it on various devices, or maybe on just a standard PC. but you don't want to oversimplify it so the data becomes not engineering usable, I guess.
I guess the power of the PiXYZ toolchain is to reduce the number of triangles within the model without compromising the visual quality. So I guess.
So actually, all the PiXYZ steps are driven by Python scripting. So you can really create your own scenarios of optimization by controlling the tessellation settings. So the number of polygons you want, the mesh quality you're looking for. You can obviously create LODs during the process also, so you can maybe manage different platforms and different experiences. The more information you will be able to use and provide to this scenario, so are you able to use the metadata, for example, to do an optimization which is focusing differently on all the parts based on this metadata information? Yeah. Everything is written in Python. You can really use your knowledge and the API of PiXYZ to create your own scenario.
Okay, so you could set up rules in terms of a process, and you say, well, whenever you import a model of this type, if it has this type of metadata, then we can really, really decimate it. But you need to retain for certain parts of the model, anything that has this kind of metadata has to be kept at a very high level of detail.
Exactly. Yeah. The main common samples are the level of tessellation you want. Based on the metadata or a material assignment, you can maybe tessellate all the parts differently. Yeah. There is also the merging step. Of course, if you have animation, you don't want to merge your objects into one single mesh. You need to keep some separated. So based on the metadata information, that's something PiXYZ can do automatically. Merging everything which is just like environment, and let all the parts that you will or your users will focus on with a high quality, a dense polygon mesh and animations, of course.
And that's something that will be set up during this process of setting up this automatic conversion. And then to the end user, that's seamless. They just say they know, it will just happen. You just push a button and it will use those settings to convert certain types of models.
Everything can be imagined, as it's all about integration and development. If you want automation, you need to set up some rules before. Yeah. If you want to give to the end users, so the people in Teamcenter, some settings that they can adjust. Yeah. Maybe a rule engine where they can enter the name of a metadata and the behavior of PiXYZ. Then that's maybe more dynamic and manual. That's completely up to the company, the end users, or the IT team to decide what they want to provide to their teams.
Great. Okay. Thanks very much.
I guess the power of the solution is that we can hide all this conversion stuff into a dispatcher job, so that it's for the user, it's really a matter of a few mouse clicks with all the preparation done behind the scenes. So this is, I guess, really helpful and time saving. So anyone else?
Hello.
Hello.
My name is Seçkin. I work at Siemens, Istanbul. So we use a lot of this kind of model import-export stuff.
Okay.
So my question is it possible to import and or update model in runtime? Is it a way of automation of things you have showed?
Yeah. We have been asked this quite a few times, and I guess this is of crucial importance to be able to update the content. And yes, this would be possible. Yeah, working with the set bundles, for example, and we're thinking about having a Unity application with a SOA client embedded, so that it can talk to Teamcenter and do a live update on any assets that need updating, for example.
Oh, perfect. Thank you.
You may have seen the Unity Reflect technology, which is presented on the expo floor. Yeah. You can clearly design and experience something very similar, but not dedicated to IOC. Also usable for any other areas using this kind of integration. Again, it's more a matter of setting up the global workflow and see what you need, guys, users, and how we can provide this to you.
Thank you.
What we are really thinking about is having a Teamcenter SOA client within HoloLens and to have all this information mirrored in your field of view and be able to update all the stuff from the PLM backends. That would be really exciting. So this is something,
mind-blowing.
The next steps, perhaps. Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
Do you have any plan or idea about version handling in Teamcenter? Since, like as we said, we handling like big machinery, and then it could be like millions of polygons of data.
Yeah.
And then I actually used the PiXYZ Studio and the PiXYZ plugin without the Atos part, and then imported in Unity manually. But then there is another challenge apart from the ones you mentioned, is version handling. Since our designers they release in Teamcenter quite often, like every month, maybe a new model, and then we probably need to update that in our simulation. Then it's quite tricky, since every time when we get a new model, all the naming, everything has changed. So we have rigged the behaviors to the old model, and how are we supposed to do it for the new model, since we need to do all the work manually again? If there will be any smart solution?
Yeah, this is something we have been discussing in our team quite a few times. So this is something we need to address, how to deal with revisions and versions and all this stuff to take care of this. But I have to admit, this is a brand new solution. It's about 3 months old that we went public with this, so to say. So what we have now is a solution core. And perhaps you know, every Teamcenter installation at a given customer, yeah, they're all different. It's like snowflakes. Yeah, they're very different. And what we do as Atos and PiXYZ to have an integration project together with you to target your expectations and so on. And in the context of an integration project, we will meet all the challenges you need to master within a given context.
Actually, that one might maybe also already be answered. Here, Winfried almost totally presented manual workflow from Teamcenter, where when someone is actively starting the conversion process from Teamcenter or from Unity, I'm sure the Atos team could also integrate routines that run every night, maybe, or anytime there is a new update or a modification into the PLM, we could restart the PiXYZ process, and the Atos and PiXYZ process, to automatically update the assets for Unity. So if you have a designer making a change into the PLM, anytime you will push the modification into the PLM, it will restart the entire optimization process and delivers your VR or AR team a new asset ready for visualization. And that could be done instantaneously, or maybe every night if it's easier, every week. I don't know the frequency, but that would be the kind of questions you will answer.
Yeah, but I mean, the newly generated model, all the pieces, all the polygons, the meshes, they will have different naming in Unity. So then when I import it again, it will be a new GUID, a new reference. So it's like maybe thousands of new points I need to rig on new behaviors. That's a lot of work.
Yeah. We mentioned rules earlier.
Yeah.
So if you can identify rules that can be applied every time on your designer's work, that could help. Of course, if your designers are like building a new model every month, that might be a little more complex, but we can still.
So the most possible thing is we do our magic in the Python script in the PiXYZ side.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
And that would be the perfect candidate. Once you are able to do it in Python, you can embed it in some dispatcher job. So if you expect the same conversion or export happening every night, yeah, why not create a cron job or dispatcher job so to hide all that complexity in there and to be able to run it automatically every night. This is what we as integrators do on a regular basis, so to say. I think it's 1 minute left. I'm not sure if we can take another question. I guess we're running out of time somehow. So I guess thank you, Laurent. It was a pleasure to. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. And if there is any questions,
of course, we will be around on the show floor. If you please feel free to ask any questions. We will be around at the PiXYZ booth. And have a great night. Bye bye, everybody.